This is Media and Ethics brought to you by your television ng Bayan PTV4. We are talking about the role of media in developing this country. Alam niyo, napakaganda ng feedback natin ng ibang bansa. Napakaganda ng feedback ng mga ratings agency. Napakaganda ng ating growth sa ating turismo. Kaya sa tingin niyo, gaano kalaki ang impact ng media's packaging of the country or the way media is presenting the country to the world? Professor Arao.
Fundamental yung issue rito Hindi dapat maging marketing arm ng gobyerno o ng sino mang entity yung media.
Bakit hindi?
Sapagkat kung katotohanan ang titingnan natin, gaya nga ng kanta ni Joey Ayala, ito ay may dalawang mukha, di ba? Ang tama sa iyo ay maaring mali sa tingin ng iba. Kaya yung objectivity talaga ay susi dun sa usapin ng pagkakaroon ng objetibong mga ulat.
Which leads me to asking a question. Who decides which side to present, Sir Conrad? Kasi nga sabi ni Professor, meron kang maganda, meron pangit. But how much of the good and how much of the bad? Who decides on that?
The media itself. Tama yung sabi niya Importante yan na point. It's the media itself who has to decide these things. Yung unang tanong mo kanina, how does media help build a nation? Simply by being, doing what it's supposed to do. Wag ka lang corrupt, wag kang sinungaling, wag ka abusado, mamahayag ka ng tama, nakakatulong ka sa bansa. Ang worry ko talaga dyan once you start thinking in terms of I'm going to help build a nation, o kaya government steps in, that's a very dangerous thing. Ang dami examples natin from Marcos's time, yung development journalism to hanggang recently. In fact, yan yung caveat ko dun sa sabi ko, tama si Pinoy sa pagreklamo niya sa unfairness, tama siya sa pagreklamo ng pag-mix ng opinion tsaka news, pero hindi siya tama when started prescribing. Dapat ibalita niyo naman yung good news. Dangerous precedent yan. Ang dami every government would want that to happen.
That's right. Pero kaya nga ginagawa ng Singapore, ng Malaysia, ginagawa ng ibang bansa. Pasagot ko siguro sa ibang, Sir.
In China, for instance.
China, Singapore. Pero mas malago yung kanilang ekonomiya. Kung sa ordinary mamamayan, mas malago sila, kontrolado yung media, nakakatulong ba yun? Is there a direct link to censorship or control of media to development?
Malago sa China ngayon, yung mga blogs yung hindi news blogs hindi tulad nung sa Rappler which is manned by professional journalists yung ang mga news mga blogs sa China ngayon mga pro-democracy na kanya-kanya and they help each other, they screen each other kasi pag naglabas ka ng pro-democracy blog yayariin ka ng gobyerno nyo doon sa China titirahin ka, hahantingin kung saan lugar ka, dadamputin ka, pupusasan, kukulong ka. So what the other bloggers do is they screen by sending mga kung ano-anong notes dun sa ni-email nila para ma-screen nila, malito ngayon, o kaya kukopyahin nila, ikakalat nila para malito yung gobyerno, hindi malaman kung sinong titirahin tuloy.
Ayun, so underground pala ang lumalago ngayon sa China.
Yung parang Rappler nga yun, na parang meron yung vloggers na bubuhay at nagfi-feedback diretso at yung kung sa Malaysia merong control sa kanilang news media, at least television and radio, pero merong kang relative freedom sa internet. So, nagbabago yung configuration.
Kahit sa China, I was in Beijing last year, kahit medyo nire-regulate yung internet, merong Twitter ang China, tawag Weibo, at maraming mamamahayag ang gumagamit ng Weibo, ang Twitter ng China, para magbalita ng mga hindi pwedeng ibalita sa mga pahayagan nila. Ang nangyayari, usually umaabot sila ng mga 100,000 followers. Pag medyo controversial na sila, sinasarado tinatake down yung account nila. Pero gumagawa sila ulit. And that's actually happening in a controlled environment in China.
Okay, si Gio, maraming katanungan mula sa ating mga...
follow-up question doon, mula sa isang taga Facebook follower natin. Sabi niya ay, para kay Josh din, sabi niya, we are often advised not to believe everything we read on the internet. How do you feel that people are still doubt the credibility of news online?
Tama there's two thoughts there. Yung unang pahayag, lahat ng naririnig mo sa internet, you shouldn't believe everything. Kasi anyone can just put up propaganda or false information on the internet. Marami ng artista at mga politiko ang pinatay.
And there's a ton of trolling.
And there's a ton of trolling as well. So there's a lot of false statements on the internet. Kaya mahalaga din na magkaroon ng mga people that you can trust. Whether it's Rappler, whether it's a reporter like UGO who has a Twitter account na people believe in you. Find people that you can trust online. And that's why it's important na as practicing journalists, we also make sure that we have this ethics intact. So that when people, pag medyo malabo na, people don't know who to trust, namatay ba si Dolphy o hindi, they know na pwede silang pumunta sa people that they can trust to get the information.
So in relation to that, basahin ko rin yung isang Facebook question ni Jenny Castro. No? Sabi niya, but if a reporter violates or rejects a particular code of conduct, pwede ba siyang ikulong? Meron po bang law on responsible journalism?
Ang
Okay.
ethics kasi na pamantayan, wala naman talagang batas yan dahil ito yung standards eh. Compliance is voluntary. Bagamat mamaya siguro yung KBP pwedeng magpaliwanag na as far as the Broadcast Code of Ethics is concerned, Broadcast Code of 2007, may mga sanction doon. Pero, yun na nga, may isang istasyon halimbawa na malaki na hindi na bahagi ng KBP. Kaya wala na yun sa jurisdiction nila. Pero yung standards, hindi dapat yan isa batas. Sapagkat ito yung mga pamantayan na dapat nating obserbahan. Yun yung pinakadelikadong bahagi ng Code of Ethics talaga.
Okay.
Baka gusto
Tanungin natin
magdagdag
ang
ng kaibigan
KBP.
natin sa KBP.
Yes, we have the Code of Ethics. No? This is the guide actually for networks to see to it na sundin ng mga tauhan nila. But in fairness to the media, yung masabi-sabi kanina na maraming corruption, maraming tiwali, well, media is not a perfect sector. No? Broadcast may not be a perfect sector, just like in other medium. No? Pero in fairness, sabi ko sa mga networks, sa mga miyembro ng media, meron sariling mga ombudsman yan. May sariling mga patakaran yan na nagsisiguro na maganda yung kalalabasan, na walang violation na magawa yung mga miyembro nila. So, that's the first line of defense. The domain stays actually in self-regulation. Pinapatupad nila kung anong dapat para maganda yung serbisyo na mabigay na sa public. Now, kung hindi gawa nila yan, then of course there's an organization like the KBP where complaints are being submitted and we conduct the usual process. The due process, we accord the whoever is being complained of, due process.
Okay.
Kung anong nakakarapat, yun ang ginagawa. May mga pinaklose kami by the GAO, no? Yes. Hindi pagkabilanggo, of course, iba naman yan, no? In the KBP code, we impose sanctions, we impose penalties in the forms of fines, may suspension, and even, of course, disbarment from going on air, no? That's part of the process that we have in the Association of the Kapisanan.
May follow-up question lang din po yung isang estudyante from Trinity.
Hello sir. At tanong ko lang po, ano po ba ang limitasyon ng press freedom? Do we limit ourselves as broadcasters or as reporters po? Thank you.
Okay. Sa KBP rin yan, tanong mo.
Ayan, limitasyon.
Well, of course, dapat intindihan kaya dito tayo, pag-usapan natin to. At yun nga, may mga guidance tayo coming from the code. The networks have their own manual, may mga polisa yan, no, na pinapasunod sa mga tauhan nila kung anong dapat gawin at kung anong hindi dapat gawin. Na kung maglampas sila dyan, there are sanctions. May mga violations natin, may mga pinapatupad na mga sanctions against them. No? Yun ang ginagawa natin kung maglampas sila sa kanong dapat nagagawin as members of the media.
Kung self-regulation is the way to go, at ang nabanggit po ni Sir Conrad na yung role dapat ng frontline, yung mga reporters ay napakahalaga. Paano natin sila binibuild up, Sir Jerry? Na talagang hindi lamang sila hanggang sound bites na lamang at hindi na lang sila hanggang angulo-angulo, na talagang merong matalino at talagang buo na reporting or pag-handle ng balita.
Ang reporter parang sa diary, yung pinaka at large, yung diary mismo. Ang pagja-diary at pag-newscast, ano yun public trust. Over time, ang reporter mo, nakikita mo yan kung may kinabukasan talaga, may potential, magbibigay sa'yo ng mga tamang balita, objective at fair. Sa ikalawa, ikatlo, may paglalagyan na siya kung dapat ba siyang, or forever, magtayo na lang ng pwesto sa Green Hills. O magtuloy pa sa kanyang career. Credibility sells A paper sells because of credibility. So ganun din ang reporter. Pag binigyan mo ako ng balitang isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat, ipaglalagyan na ako sa'yo.
May I add something for the benefit of our young journalists
Sige
here
po.
or mga journalism students, ano? Yung nabanggit na natin kanina sa simula ng programa ito, yun ang limits ng journalism, ano? You have to be fair as much as you can, ano? As balanced as you can, and clear and decent, ano? Pero huwag niyong gaano isipin yung mga limitations. Ang isipin niyo nga, tanggalan yung limitations ng sarili niyo. Huwag kayong matakot, maging mamamahayag, no? Huwag kayong magpatakot sa mga balita na miski may napapatay, nasasaktan, mga pinagbabantaan. Huwag niyong papansinin yon, maging tunay na mamamahayag kayo.
Ito, pero meron tayong private media, Cathy. Meron din tayong government media. In fact, this is all happening in state media dito sa PTV4 and we're very glad that you're all here.
Okay. And tanungin natin kay Sir Alan na galing din sa government-owned media corporation, paano nyo po inire-regulate sa Radyo ng Bayan ang inyong mga storya at yung mga nilalaman ng reports ng mga reporters ninyo?
Okay, ganito yon. Yung sagot ko doon ay more or less sagot ko din dun sa tanong ng estudyante na hanggang saan ang limitasyon ng media o ng freedom of expression, no? I would like to answer it this way. Freedom always carries with it responsibility. So freedom of speech, expression, and of the press always carries with it responsibility. I remember yung binabanggit ng professor ko dati sa School of Journalism, sabi niya, I am free to extend my arm like this as long as the tip of my finger does not touch the tip of the nose of the person next to me. But if the tip of my finger touches the tip of his nose, that is already abuse of freedom. So tinitimbang mo na hindi mo masasagasaan ang karapatan din ng ibang tao. Like, I cannot shout in a crowded movie house, sunog, 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 and then claim later on na, no, I am merely expressing my freedom of speech and expression. Because there is a big possibility na under that particular situation, in a crowded movie house, when you shout at the top of your voice, sunog, 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 magkakaroon ng stampede. Maraming masasaktan at maaaring may mamatay. So, ganun ang isang paraan kung hanggang saan ang limitasyon ng pamamahayag.
Gusto mag-react ni Sir Jerry? Mabilis po.
Komentaryo lang ako sa, palagi ko naririnig yan, nasa eskwelahan pa ako. Yung freedom of expression, sunog-sunog, palaging tanongin ng editor fact ba yan? You're not supposed to say it, if hindi totoo.
Ganun lang kasimple.
Simple lang. Simple.
Yeah, Sir Conrad.
Actually, din sa usapan natin, meron tayong ino-overlook ng isang napakalaking bagay. Parang sa akin kasi maganda yung mga pinag-uusapan, limits, yung freedoms ng press. Pero ang pinag-uusapan lang natin actually rito, yung media as we know it sa Metro Manila. Pag inisip natin media kasi napaka-Metro Manila-centric ng media natin. It's basically what's happening in Metro Manila. Pag pumunta ka sa probinsya, iba ang realidad. Wala yung mga freedoms na yan, wala yung mga limitations na yan. Pag inisip natin, ang daming, at one point, number 2 tayo sa most dangerous country for journalists. Kasi ang dami napapatay ng mga journalists. Saan nangyayari yan?
Sa probinsya.
Sa probinsya. Walang nangyayari dyan sa Metro Manila. It's another world out there. And that one, I think, we really ought to look at.
Gio?
Tawagin naman natin si Margarita. Mula pa to sa Washington, may katanungan siya para kay Josh Salapner.
Hi, good afternoon. A lot of people think that newspapers are a dying medium. Do you think this is true? And if so, why? And what can be done about it? And is this a good thing considering that a lot of people are now going online and everyone can pretty much say anything?
I have to be careful about what I say about newspapers because we have a lot of people who work in the newspapers here. But I don't think newspapers are a dying breed. Hindi siya namamatay. I think they need to redefine themselves. And in fact, I was just speaking to one of the heads of Philippine Star recently, and she was asking me if we could provide training para sa mga reporters nila to learn how to use iPhones,